So today I am joined by Lisa Carver, who is one of my favorite artists, all the way from France. I'm just so excited that you're here with me today, Lisa. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. And Lisa is also an incredible author, and I've read a couple of your books now. And Sadie, Wolf and Friends, if you can see that, is one that I completely finished, and it was incredible. And actually, this one here, Money's Nothing, I'm about a third of the way through. And did you do the illustrations on the front of these things?
Sadie Wolf and Friends, I painted, and the other one, my friend painted, Royce.
Amazing. It's so great. I can't wait to finish Money's Nothing. I'm super excited to talk to you about these books. And how many have you written so far?
I think I've written 23.
That's incredible. And what was your first book?
My first book was Dancing Queen in like 1996 or something.
Okay, okay. I haven't gotten to that one yet. So it's like it seems to me, is it fair to say I've only read like one and a half of your books, but it seems to me that you are inspired after something like a huge sort of profound life event that kind of sits with you and inspires you to write that particular book. Is that like what inspires your books?
Yeah, they are all different. I think you're
Yeah.
right. I think I just wander around the world listening to people's stories, and I just sort of record everything in my mind, and then eventually it says that it's a book. And so then I write it down.
That's amazing. So you just kind of do you have to do it as do you have to write things down as they're happening or is
I
it a memory
can.
bank?
I
Yeah.
could. Yes. Actually, yeah, I guess I always kind of have. When I was young, I had a diary, and now there's Patreon. Before that, there was Facebook, and I think before that there was MySpace.
MySpace, I remember MySpace. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
it.
I never decide on any book. It's just a reflection of who I'm meeting or what I'm thinking about. Right now, I'm really really thinking about giraffes because they're very interesting creatures. They almost have telepathy. They don't make noises really, and yet they communicate to each other. And they nobody can really figure out how, but they can tell each other if they're really, really far away. Um, uh, if there's a predator. And also, like at night, they get lonely and they want to know where each other are. So they touch each other a lot in the night because they can't see each other's eyes. But apparently they can see things in each other's eyes, but they can see like 30 miles or something. I might be making at least half of this up.
That's incredible. So giraffe theme could be something for your next book then?
Oh yeah, actually, yes, I'm doing this. My friend Yoko Molotov and I have been working. She's a really great illustrator. So we thought, oh, you write it, you Yoko who illustrates, you write the words, and I who write will do the illustrations. But then it turned into we started doing images. She would say an image of solitude, and then I would find a way to make that of company. And we were, then we just sort of just let it drop. And then I said, oh, let's do all these same ones, but as giraffes. And God, I am really sorry. This is really not going
No,
well.
it's amazing actually. So I have to ask you, Lisa, because I saw a video you did. Did you learn all of this when you went to Botswana?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So I did not decide to become obsessed with giraffes. They introduced themselves to me. I went on safari and I saw these giraffes, and I said to the guide, how come they don't make any noise and none of the all the others do? And that's when he told me all these secrets. So they might not be true.
That's
Sometimes I think
amazing.
he was joking, but I prefer, I mean, who really knows what's true?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, how could they really determine that, really?
did you know that a giraffe can kill a lion by kicking it?
I had absolutely no idea about that.
Mhm. Yeah, they
So,
don't mess with them.
so I didn't know the giraffe was, yeah, the predator over the lion. So he just like kind of knocks the lion down and
He
kicks him.
kicks it and he kicks it to death.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm curious about like hippos. Do you know anything about them? Do they do the same thing?
Yes, they are killers. And you know what? They are the only animals who kill for pleasure besides man.
You're not the only person who's told me that, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yet, how do we know for sure? How can we tell they're enjoying themselves? They smile.
Like the actual motives of a hippo, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Yet I feel very certain that it's true. And now that you've heard two people, you will be sure to.
exactly, exactly. It's verified. Definitely good info for your book though. Lisa, I'm so curious. How do you like I've always wanted to do something like that and put some of my own writings into an actual project, into a piece. Do you have to find a publisher, or can you do that on your own, or do you kind of work with other people to do it as a group
Um,
project?
I have, I'd say it's half and half. Well, I've had a lot of different publishers, and if I don't find one. I'm very lazy. So I don't look for publishers. I don't look for anything. But if none come to me, then I self-publish. I find that easier than knocking on doors.
Sure.
So and self-publishing used to be that you would print up like 2,000 copies and it wouldn't cost that much. Um, but now I think everyone does it on Amazon, so print to order. But I've been my last two books have been with Pig Roast Publishing. They're a really cool publisher. They have a lot of really neat things. Um, they they sort of it's started by a fellow who came out of this really awesome 90s noise band. And so he has all these connections and ideas. Do you remember, you're not old enough to remember in the late 80s, early 90s, you could say anything. Things were not, you didn't have to be careful, you didn't have to be considerate, and you didn't have to have empathy. You did not have to understand anyone's struggle. It was just really, really, how can you most upset people and get their like inside rage release. We were all
Sure.
abandoned children and we didn't know how to express ourselves. And so we just went crazy. And so that's what he looks for in books now. Like he did one, Nick Zed just died and he just um, had been working on him with a book. So he released that and it's, it, I just edited a book for him of this really, I don't know the author, but he was in I'm so sorry. I never know
Mm-mm.
names or anything,
All
but it
good.
was called something like Red Tide. I kept on arguing with him about the title because I said I just cannot remember this title and I'm editing it and but he insisted on the title because it made sense to him. But anyway, it's something like Red Tide. Anyway, if you go to Pig Roast Publishing, it's just really good.
Gross Publishing. Awesome. I'll definitely check them out. I'm enjoying, I haven't gotten through Money's Nothing, as I mentioned. But what I enjoy from your books so much, and like it kind of made me well up a little bit, but and maybe you've heard people tell you this, that you really, when you're dealing with people, you really see them for who they are. And you made a reference as well in that book to criminals and police officers, and that things aren't black and white, and it was something like that, how, you know, we can see a person and that's a criminal, but just because another guy has a uniform on, we think that automatically that that's a good person, and things aren't always that black and white. And just so many more examples beyond that of you actually looking through other people's eyes that I can't even really explain. Have you heard that before?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, of
Thank
course.
you. You know, something, well, first I will say about Money is Nothing and the police and the I remember, I usually don't remember my books after I'm done with them, but I do remember one point that I made, which was people think that you should be able to understand that your childhood was wrong, you know, if you were uh in a gang or whatever, you know. But if that's how reality is, it is. I mean, just imagine you were raised, you know, encouraged and sent to good schools, and you were taught a work ethic, and you interned and you could afford to, and now all of a sudden you're supposed to change into a thug or a prostitute or a junkie. Like, how easy would it be for you to change? Like, that's how easy it would be for somebody who was raised to steal, to not steal. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. I, it's just the way that you touch those issues that they're not black and white issues, and they're issues that we sometimes like to just put labels on and put away. And you really explore those things, and it really it kind of, it just, it kind of, when I read your things, it kind of makes me feel like I want to be a slightly better person. Um, your Sadie Wolf and Friends was amazing. I also have a son who has some challenges, my oldest son, and I have a large age gap between my two children because of such challenges. And it was so beautiful to read Wolf's perspective on things and your perspective on him. And I can't really put it into words, but I can relate to that experience as a parent with a child like that and that journey. And thank you for talking about that, because I think I'm going to share that book with other parents I know who have children like we do.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I let me follow in order. What I wanted to say about what you said before was, I just found out, this made me so mad, that borderline personality disorder, which I was diagnosed with, and then I was undiagnosed with it, and then now I have a hard husband. So it's back. I can feel it. But that is one of the characteristics of that is you are you feel a void inside, and you just feel like a pair of eyes, and you're very vigilant, and your perception of people is very accurate, and it's always labile. It's always changing, and it changes with the changes that they make. You don't construct something in your mind and say, okay, this person is this, and then be satisfied with that. No, you're always watching, because that's what we had to do with our parents to make sure we were okay. And so yeah, yes, I see people well. And then about Wolf and somebody with I don't know, special needs.
Mhm.
He is just so, he cannot lie, including emotionally. And now he's almost 30. And it's so incredible to see a grown man who cannot lie. I mean, he's the only one. He is the only one. And he's just like an angel. But sometimes angels are really awful, because they're like, we brought all the French family, which is big. Bruno has 4 children and I have 2. So we brought them all together along with a fiance of one of them. And that's too many people for Wolf. And we went to a botanical garden, and he enjoyed it a lot for the first half hour, and then he just had enough. And then we everybody said, well, there's a lot of people, you have to, you have to work with everyone. And so then they said, okay, we're just going to look at the butterflies. And he ripped he ripped a flower out and he threw it down, and he said, I hate butterflies, I'm going to kill them all. And it was the a woman heard him, and she grabbed her child, and she like ran away from the terrible man. And I just thought, you know what, I hate butterflies too. They're so creepy. They're just bugs, and they just act like there's something else. And I want to stomp on them too. And I'm so tired of all these people, and I cannot stand it. There's people just constantly everywhere. I've just been on the plane with them, and now I'm here with them. And I just felt exactly like him. But I could never be emotionally honest. Like I mean, he said it. And now we all say it every time that we're upset, like all of us, all the French half and the American half, we all say, I hate butterflies, I'm gonna kill them all. It feels good. It's like I'm gonna snap the neck of a unicorn.
Oh my gosh, they're so brutally honest. That I love that. I love that. And he's an artist as well. Is that
He,
right?
yes, but he's not interested in it anymore.
Okay.
I think he, I think he needed to express himself, and he really wasn't verbal. And now he doesn't, I feel like he was I feel like that I'm like that too. Like I work things out in books. So if I understand something, I don't want to write a book about it. Because I want to learn as I go. I want to unlock the unlock the locks as I'm moving through the book. And I think that's what he did with his art. And I feel like now he understands the world and how to talk to people, and how where his what his place is. So he has no more need to figure it out in his paintings. And I haven't found my place yet, so I'm still writing books.
Still working it out.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I hope you continue to do that. And I have to say that on the back of the picture that's on the back of Sadie Wolf and Friends, Wolf looks, I can't see Sadie so much, but Wolf looks just so much like you. It's incredible. It's just a
Thank
spitting
you.
image. Absolutely. What an amazing book. And I know you mentioned Patreon. What projects do you have going on right now or coming up that we
Um,
can know about?
Well, I write almost every day. I mean, I think people wish I wrote a little bit less often. But if you go on Patreon, then I think it's just / Lisa Carver. You can find me, and you have to pay something to sign up because they make the site, the platform is like that, but I only charge $1 a month. And but if you pay more, then you get presents too. But so I have that. And then I'm trying to get live Zoom sessions. We're going to start our first one on Sunday. And I want to, I got this idea that we, what if instead of, we're so obsessed with therapy and individualism and the idea that our problems matter and so much. And what about the problems of reality? What is reality? Like that should matter as much as our childhoods, I think. I think it's just as interesting. And just imagine if instead of like I've been to therapy. The first time I went to a therapist, I was 8 years old. It was school ordered, and I'm still going. And I just thought, what if instead of an hour of talking about me, we paid a philosopher an hour to talk philosophy? And that was what we did. We tried to decide about what's real, because that's what you're doing in therapy, I think maybe is like, what is the real healthy way to live. So why not do philosophy, which is we don't care what's healthy. We just care what is to live, what is anything. And why not? I mean, I think I would be so much, I think my life would be so much better if instead of the thousands and thousands of dollars and hours that I put into me, my psyche, if I put that into, you know, what if, all the what ifs, all the what maybes.
Your books are kind of a combination of that though, which is sort of cool. It's kind of
Oh,
like an end
thank you.
result of that.
What a
Yeah.
compliment. Wow, this is a very enjoyable hour for
Yeah.
me.
No, 100%. Are you going to be like, I know you had mentioned a while back that I think is your website still going down, or are you going to be still putting books up there for sale? Because I think
I,
people need to buy a copy.
yeah, I'm on eBay right now and the website is in flux right now. There's like three people sort of passing messages to each other and finding where the books are and sending them. But yeah, you can find them on eBay, you can find them on Amazon. You can go direct to the publishers or uh yeah, you can go to the SuckDog site, suckdog.net site too. I guess I'll find somebody new to run it, or I don't know what I'll do. But
Good.
yeah, so I'm so on Patreon we're try so I want to host, we haven't done it yet. The first one will be this Sunday. I want to have a philosophy hour and have us n- to talk about what we think, you know, um, if you are God and God is dead, then what has arisen in the place of you? You know, I don't know. This is something like that. And also, I don't think time exists, so I have a lot of theories about ghosts. Well, anyway, we'll work it out. Whatever anybody, and I'm really interested in what other people think, but I just want to try to have it be nothing personal, um, and nothing real, you know.
Amazing. I love how you you wrote that money is not real. So it's like money.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe in a lot of things, I guess.
Yeah,
I also could believe in anything, but
that's amazing. Do you have any books coming up in the future that you have planned?
yes. So the last one, No Man's Land, that came out, I don't know, 6 months ago, maybe. And
Amazing.
I have that one was about, it was half Botswana, half France. Because those were the two places that I lived for 3 months. And I was just gonna skip place to place every 3 months, but then I got married and so now I live here. Um, but the one that I'm working on now, which I don't know, I should do a writer's retreat or something. This house is so freaking chaotic. The French people are so fucking social. Like, my God, they love to talk to each other. They could talk like all day and all night too. I don't know how there's that much to talk about. I really don't. And they like on the street, they'll see each other and they will stop and talk. And if you go in a shop, like you wait a long time in line because the person at the counter
Wow.
says, you say bonjour, ça va, and then they actually tell you how they are and they talk about things. And like there could be a long line and they'll just talk and talk and talk and talk.
So
The,
apparently time's not real either.
yeah, absolutely. No, and also they all talk over each other all at the same time. Like
Really?
we hired these gardeners because we kept on trying to make the backyard nice and it just got uglier and uglier. And so we gave up and we hired some professionals and they came out to find out what we wanted and to give us their ideas. And there were two gardeners and Bruno and me. And the two gardeners and Bruno, all three of them talked the entire time all at once. Like I mean, I kept on trying to say at some point, like, you guys, I cannot understand rapid French when in a, like, what do you call it when it's harmony, or uh, disharmony. Anyway, I
Yeah.
can't understand anything you're saying. And so I kept on trying to interrupt, and you cannot get in. You just have to just like, you just have to talk and not care if anyone hears you. And I don't
Wow.
understand how this beautiful country works. I mean, how did anyone ever do anything? Because then when they left, I said to Bruno, please tell me, what did they say? What's going to happen to our garden? And he said, oh, I don't know.
That sounds absolutely dizzying.
Yeah, yeah. So what was I even saying? Now
Wow.
I got so
I
worked up.
know. No, that's okay. We got on a tangent about France. I think I was
Oh,
asking
yes.
you.
So what my new book is. So then I
Yeah.
said, so I need to go away somewhere for my book, but I still write it anyway, but it's almost done. So I must be writing. I must be exaggerating. My husband built a little, like a shed in the backyard for me to go, and no one's allowed to knock on the door. So that's where I go write. And so anyway, uh, so my new book, I think, will be called When Sickness.
Sorry, say that one word. You just cut
Normally
out
I think,
there.
okay. Um, I think the title is My Good Friend Sickness.
Amazing.
Yeah. Because we always talk about sickness like something to cured, or something to avoid, or something that hurts. And I was thinking, well, it's a thing, like everything else is a thing. It's an entity. It has its own logic. It has its own, you know, raison d'être. It has its own time, its own space. Like, it's really big. Every time that you feel that you're sick, all of a sudden it's eternity, like it's eternity. There is no like outside. There's just the four walls, and it's everything.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
also, the sickness in sex, and in spiritually, in society, in business, and financial, in relationships, in the psyche, everything. So I just wanted to look at sickness as neither, not bad, not a bad thing, no more bad than I am, no more good than I am, just a creature, and like get to know it and sit down and talk with it. And I also tried to, also, I think writers don't write from within something. I think all writers are probably like me. They probably work things out as they write. I don't know. But we cannot we write from memory. I think, I don't know, because I've never been another writer other than myself, but I write from memory of the words that I put on things at the time. Like, I describe things in my mind as it's happening. And so later I'm not feeling what I was feeling. Like, I try to define things all the time. Like, if I'm having an orgasm, I try to think, what does this feel like? And then I try to memorize it so that later I can write about an orgasm better. And and I do that constantly all my life. I'm narrating what I'm feeling. Later, I'm not feeling that. I'm I am I'm just printing the words that I told myself. And that's how, and I think we have memories like that too. They're not real memories. We're reminding ourselves of what we told ourselves. That's why we don't have memories pre-verbal. And so I was thinking, you can't do that with sickness. They're like dreams. They dissipate, and uh, when you're sick, it's like you were never well. When you're well enough to write, it's like you were never sick. And so I brought together different things that I've written at different times when I was like in a sick relationship and I didn't realize it, or I was mentally ill and I didn't realize it, but I was writing from within that because, you know, but now I can't reach that, but I have that old thing that I wrote for some other magazine or something, or I wrote anonymously for some place. And then I have the current ones of, like the did you read the what I just had in um Paris Review?
I did
Um
not. No,
okay, okay.
no,
The
love to.
Freaking Monster. It was like 14,000 words or something. I had cancer last year and
Right.
they and they cut it all out and I won't get it again. It's all gone, but it was an incredible experience. I was not me. I mean, it was really, really strange. I was in so much pain that I became pain, and there was no more me. There was pain. It was like a howl it was like I became a howl. It was really unfettered. And it was just a very strange experience. Also, I lost a lot of blood and I was having a hard time getting blood back. And I lost my personality with my blood. It was like I became so incredibly anemic and I was like I just lost really a lot of blood and they couldn't get it to get working again. So I was crying all the time because with severe anemia, you are really weak and depressed and you've lost your I couldn't even walk. It was awful. And I just wanted to tell the doctors or the nurses, like, it's not me to be like this. But I couldn't, and then I couldn't remember what me was because now this was me. And whatever me we are, we think that's our life. And the me that was then was the me of somebody who has lost all their blood and they can't walk, or not all their blood, obviously.
Right.
And then I thought, well, how random is that? So then all this other time that I thought me was actually me, no, that was just as random because that was just the same, hormones or environment or whatever. And so then I felt like there is no me. And so anyway, well, that's just so that was I was inside of sickness and so I was able to describe it from within. But if I look, I can only tell you this now because I wrote it down at the time. I was in there, I had IVs in both arms and they got infected, so my arms swelled up and there was tape everywhere. And I was on my computer and I was like
Oh my gosh.
because I didn't want to, I knew I would forget everything. And I did.
Yeah.
I forgot everything. It's like it never happened at all. But I can tell you about it because I read my own article. That's how I can tell you about it.
I can't believe I haven't read that. I so look forward to reading that. That sounds incredible. I'm so sorry you went through that. And I love like years the struggles that you go through and in the books, like it gives people hope, and so I want to read that piece because people, we go through these things and they're so challenging and um, you know, you just give people a different way of thinking about those things, that there's hope, and to actually call it, to be able to identify it, has to be so helpful.
Yeah, I think I enjoy everything. And I think it's because it is such a pleasure to um put it into words that to say I have this new thing to put into words. If somebody really hurts, if somebody breaks my heart, I'm like it's a kind of joy for me because I'm like, wow, I never felt so betrayed. And then I was like, oh, this is interesting. What does this feel like? And then it's 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 exciting. So it's so if something really bad or really good happens, it's a it can turn into like a gift that I can give to people. And they, because I know I'm good at putting things into words, like it's my skill. It's my only skill. I only have one, and that's what it is. And I can give this gift to people who uh everybody has all these feelings, and yet if they can't put them into words, it's like it just sort of like rolls and waits. So if they can read something that answers something in them, they can say, ah, that is what it was. And now you feel like you own it more, like it's yours. And otherwise, we can almost feel like we don't possess our own life if we can't, if there are no words for it. And so, so anyway, I was actually, um, my mother died when she was 53 of cancer. My mother's mother died when she was 53 of cancer. And I was 53 when I was diagnosed with it by surprise. But I was diagnosed with it by puking blood all day long and not knowing why. And then they came and told me, oh, that's why. And I had never been sick before a day in my life. And the weird thing is I was really happy to get that, because I thought now I'm going to know what it feels like. And it made me feel so much closer to my mother. I'd never been I really had to put distance between me and my mother because she was very needy and very immature, and she would have swallowed me whole. So it made me really cold to illness. She was ill my whole life. And my daughter got Crohn's disease, and I I adore my daughter. I think she's wonderful, and I thought I was really good to her with her illness because I love her so much and I wanted to help her, and I really admire her. So I thought I was doing a good job. And after I got sick myself, I realized what a shitty job I did, because I understood now what it feels like to be tired and somebody wants to be friendly with you. It's an attack. It's a like it's and then they don't really believe you if you say, you know, I don't I no, I don't feel like doing that. Like they don't really believe it. They think you're depressed or something, and they think that they just gotta, I did those things to my daughter, and now people were doing them to me, and I understood what it felt like, and I felt really bad. But I was glad that I could understand her now. I felt like she got mad at me. Um, and I didn't know why, and she wouldn't tell me why, maybe because she didn't have the words for it, because how would I understand? It's not something, severe illness is not something you can understand unless you can only feel it. And so, yeah, so I would like to be that bridge for other people. That's what I like try to do.
You 100% are. You put into words things that people feel, and it makes people feel less alone. And I can say that, I can tell you that firsthand. And also, I really appreciate and I don't know if you've ever heard this one before, but whatever issue is going on that you're exploring, there's an element to it of personal responsibility as well. You had mentioned in Money's Nothing that it would be great if victimless crimes were all legal, but that's probably not going to happen in our lifetime. So we have to take the onus on ourselves to do what we can do. But the reason that you're probably doing drugs in the first place, you're all right. It's okay. And personal responsibility, hope, and just really those, like you mentioned, the cancer, the your oldest child the hardest things in life that people go through and giving them a way with words to express it. And I'm such a huge fan of yours for that reason. And I'm really, really grateful for your work. There we are. It just froze up there, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, did you hear what the last
Yes,
part?
I did. I think, well, I heard the first two parts and then I froze on the third part.
It was just that I was just saying you give people hope in the worst situations in life because you put those situations into words. And I'm a huge fan of your work for that reason.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think we can it's actually really easy to go through anything when we know what it is. It's when we try to hide it from ourselves or from anybody else that it's hard. That's what's hard. That's what takes the energy. So, to yeah, I could handle anything if I could be honest with myself. Sometimes I'm not. Um,
Sure.
but I think I'm probably pretty honest comparatively because I really don't judge anything. So I can accept to be a monster sometimes and not have any problem with it. Like if I wasn't, I wouldn't be a human being. Everybody, like people constantly talk about being in an abusive relationship. And they're always the victim. How can there be millions and millions of victims and there's no perpetrators?
Mhm.
Like there's got to be
Mhm.
some perpetrators.
Yeah,
And sometimes that's been me. And I have like I can say it no problem because
it's everybody.
why wouldn't I be? Everybody is,
Yeah,
everybody perpetrates abuse. It's like, you know, if you don't want to see yourself that way, you'll hide it from yourself and then you'll just get really good at it.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
better.
And easier to convince yourself that what you're doing is right or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, and it gets more complex and then people don't believe you. And then if people don't believe you, you think they're treating you bad, and then you treat them worse because they treated you bad.
yeah, it's a whole thing. Lisa, I just want to thank you. After recording, I'll just, say goodbye to you and I'll send you this afterwards. I want to thank you so much for your time today. It was a great, great conversation to have with you. Are you on Facebook or Instagram? Can people look at your work on social media anywhere? Is
Oh
it
yeah, I'm on
Patreon?
I'm on both of them. But I always forget my name. Uh I think on Facebook, I might be Lisa Carver. And on Instagram, I think I'm Carver and then four numbers. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, good. We'll find that. We'll find it. Thank you so much for talking with me today. It was
I'm sorry,
so lovely.
I'm so interested in hearing what you have to say, and I didn't give you even 1 minute. I'm so
No,
excited
it
speaking
was
English.
amazing.
So sorry I hogged it.
It was amazing. I'm glad that you did it. The time just flew. It's been a ton of fun. It was so, so great to actually talk with you and, to just your books are amazing. It was just
Yeah.
so, so great to have a conversation with you, Lisa. And I'm gonna have to get out to France again at some point for my third time, and hopefully you'll come up to Toronto again at
Oh
some
yeah,
point too.
I would love to. Please come visit me. I'm right outside of Paris.
Really,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. I've been to Paris 2 times, so that sounds great. And I'll be in touch with you. I know it's pretty late where you are today,
Oh
so
yeah, I gotta go eat. Oh my God, I'm so starving.
I'll let you do that. It's much earlier where I am. So it was great to meet you, Lisa. Thank you so much, and I'll be in touch with you later for sure.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Thank you. It was lovely to speak with you. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a great
Bye.
day. Bye bye.